Hello, good morning, and it's the Lifestyle Friday, and for all of you that are watching Smart Means Business. Today we talk content creation in the country, the movie business, film business in Uganda. The Uganda Film Festival has already kicked off, and the Uganda Communications Commission is gladly behind the wheel to ensure that everything Ugandan content is identified, recognized, and celebrated. Now, joining me is the Manager Content Development at the Uganda Communications Commission. Good morning and many thanks for joining us.
Good morning, and good morning to our viewers.
Yes, kindly please say hello to the viewers and also tell them more about what you do at UCC and your names.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning once again, viewers. My name is Ruth Kibuka. I'm the Manager Content Development at Uganda Communications Commission. Very happy to be here to talk about the journey of Uganda Film Festival over the last 10 years.
So when you take us back to the 10 years of the Uganda Film Festival, this brings me to a question of how did we get into having an annual film festival?
Okay. So briefly, the Commission is the regulator for the communications industry, and our role would be regulation entirely. But as the Commission, in 2013, we took a step back to see what are you regulating in terms of the film industry.
Yes.
We have enough content that is local, what is important for the sector to grow, and we took a number of steps to develop the film industry. Now, key among them, we realized that the sector was a little bit segmented. It needed bringing together, and we started the Uganda Film Festival as one of the major initiatives to bring all the filmmakers together in a focused manner to work on the different areas that will enable this industry to thrive.
Okay.
So from 2013 to date, as we celebrate the 10 years, the Commission has done a lot of things with the filmmakers in terms of empowering the sector to help professionalize, skill these people, and make sure that we have the right local content on the TV stations.
Okay. Now, speaking of content development, looking back at the last 10 years, our content has developed, by the way, I should say. The kind of content we've delivered, the kind of movies, for example, the production levels has actually increased. Now, this brings me to the question about this workshop that has kicked off at UCC. What is its main aim and what are you focusing at?
Okay, thank you. So the workshop we're having today is business of film. As I've said, over the 10 years, we've done a lot of capacity building, which has created what you see now, the improved quality of films. But after improving our quality of films, what next?
Yes.
This industry, we want it to be a sustainable and viable sector. Like any other industry that you see in Hollywood, you see in Nollywood, Nigeria, we want the Uganda industry to be viable. So for that to happen, the film creators, the content creators, they need to know the business language of film. They need to know what needs to be done. When I create a film, what steps am I supposed to take to ensure that my film becomes monetized, that I benefit from the film that I make. So in that regard, the Commission has got partnerships like MultiChoice Uganda, the one you see here today. We are having MultiChoice as a major partner. They flew in very technical people from South Africa to come and train our filmmakers. And you know, actually when I look at the whole, I just wish every producer, every person that is involved in the business of film should be in this training, because Glenn, who they brought on board, has over 30 years experience in the film industry on how to make sure that from the time you create your content, who is your target as the audience, who is your target audience, who is your target buyer, all that before you even start creating, you must know it. So the Commission has brought those trainers to ensure that our filmmakers can learn the basic principles of making money out of the films. Because now we have the quality films, we must have the business, you know. So for that to happen, the filmmakers need to know how is the business done. Don't just make films to keep them in your show.
Okay.
Make films that can be sold out there and make money out of them.
Okay. Now, by the look of things, this year I want to believe there is a focus that you have with the Uganda Film Festival.
Yes.
Just like it happens every other year. What is your focus as UCC and the other players within the film industry this year?
This year. Okay, so actually on this 10th edition, our theme is celebrating 10 years for harnessing the potential of the film industry. And when you look at that theme, there are many things that we're looking at. One is how do we now create sustainability of this industry. So when you look at all the workshops and the things we are doing, we have tried to monetize everything that people can now, because you cannot have sustainability without monetization.
True.
So the workshops, the clinics we have created are largely empowering people on how to monetize their business. Because over the last 10 years, we've concentrated on quality of content, and we believe we have achieved that. I can't say we have reached there because we still need more, but I believe that we have reached a stage where the content should now be able to make money.
Okay.
It is making, but not as it should be. So monetization of the industry is what we are concentrating on.
Okay, lastly, your final words to the content creators, the movie producers, and everyone who's into the entire film business.
So my last words to the content creators is that you are in the right business and you're lucky to be talented in that aspect. And Uganda is still a virgin space. You know, when you're at takeoff, it means you still have a lot of opportunity.
Yep.
The industry has not reached saturation stage. It means there's still a lot of buyers, but you as a content creator, what makes you unique? You must create content that can attract buyers. So before you create your content, make sure you know that you have a targeted audience that can be viewed by the whole public, not to be hidden under the bed. Because once it's for hiding, then fewer people, you know. So the target audience is very necessary, but also put in your whole and make sure that you produce quality content. Once you have quality content, these people will look for you. They will look for you. You don't have to fight for the market.
Okay.
So once that is done, I think then learn the principles, have the right agreements in place. We've seen those challenges a lot. Ensure that you know how you want to benefit from your film and all the players that are involved.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, sure thing is sustainability, and we tend to focus now on the Uganda Film Festival 2023, 10 years of the same, and of course celebrating Ugandan content. And she did mention Uganda is still a virgin territory when it comes to the film industry. Lots of things to learn and lots of developments to be met. We've been watching an insight in here into the film industry. Good morning.
Finally.
Okay.
Finally. I talked about monetization. One of the unique things we've done this year is because for monetization to happen, these people's works must be viewed, that audience I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So right now, as we started the screenings from 22nd this month, Ugandan films are showing across all cinemas, Century Cinema, at Acacia, at Metroplex, and at Arena Mall. So the public is invited to come and watch Ugandan films.
Okay.
They are only at 10,000, and this money goes to the creators themselves, of course with the cinema because it's a business, but all this is geared towards empowering the sustainability of the film industry. So please come and watch Ugandan films, and they are great, by the way.
Yeah.
They are very great stories and great quality.
Of course. And we need to support locally made content. So there you have it. The Uganda Film Festival 2023 has already kicked off, and you can follow all the steps as it goes by. 10 years of the entire celebration.
Well, that is Ruth Chibuka, Manager Content Development, Uganda Communications Commission. Of course, with the workshop, of course, about Uganda's film business. You know, it's time we really talk about monetization of films, you know, instead of just making the movies out there. What is the right aspect? And of course, the concluding remarks were quite very interesting when she mentioned the aspect of having, you know, get the right content out there, that you won't really have to to struggle so much when it comes to marketing it out there. You know, how unique is the content? You know, the buyers in there. And of course, I want to believe that UCC has done quite lots of initiatives to, you know, for the film industry for the past year, past year coming to this year. Mercy, how do you see of that when it comes to how, you know, Uganda, we can position ourselves to start making money that is from the filming industry?
Well, the film industry, actually, I must say, it's doing quite well compared to the previous years. We've seen a lot of content has been put out, actually. When you see Pearl Magic Prime and Pearl Magic, there's a lot of Ugandan content. And of course, this is an improvement in the industry. But of course, we have to understand that we may have the funds, but then there are a little bit of challenges that we face in the movie industry. Now, I will give you an instance. There's a point where we lack filmmakers. Now, an instance I would give for The Queen of Katwe, that movie that was shot in Uganda. You know, we had to bring in people from foreign countries. You know, Tanzania alone, you cannot have a film made on their ground. You have to first pay the government first. So I believe if we could, you know, market our content more, you know, we could have a very huge sum of people admiring and wanting to have our content viewed. And another thing is, of course, piracy, copyright. We are still lagging behind. We do not have. I feel like we need a commission that needs to be put in place so that we are able to curb these challenges that we are facing. Funds, then piracy, then limited marketing, and of course, I believe we shall push this if we put in much effort. Of course, for funding, the UCC is trying as much as it can to look for means to push this industry. But of course, one other challenge I must say we are still facing is structures. We do not have a structured way of doing things. Like I said, if we could get a commission or maybe a board on which, you know, on how we can do business in this industry, then definitely we could grow as a company, as the movie industry. Yeah, that's my opinion about it.
Okay. Well, I think when you come to think of it, when what Mercy is saying is, I will first of all agree with the fact that if we're to look at the marketing perspective, our own issue, I think, goes back to our local market first. How are we appreciating these movies? The kind of discussion we had earlier on in the show is, are we watching because the quality of the movies is good, or are we watching because we want to support? Now, these two things are different. At times you watch the movie because you want to support the Ugandan movies. And I think what UCC and the likes of MultiChoice and the rest are doing is to ensure that anyone who is producing movies while these workshops are out there is you're not only producing to force it onto the Ugandans, but producing good content whereby Ugandans are not forced to, you know, view, but are, you know, are in position to love what you're producing. Because at least now, in the last 5 years, you've come to think about it that most Ugandans lately want to watch more Ugandan content simply because the storylines are ours. And back in the time, we had the challenge of the same scripts. The storylines were more scary about witchcraft, and some Ugandans felt like it was so basic, it was so direct. And now the storylines are modernized with the modern era that we are in, and I feel it says a lot about why Ugandans are now appreciating what we have currently.
Very true. And you see, I've already talked about how, like for example, now how the music videos have evolved over time in the country, looking at the different levels, bringing out, you know, this quality. And of course, I used to have this question: why don't we really apply this to the movies too? And this is something which people are really doing. And yes, it's true, it's not right to support, just to support, because support kind of sounds sympathetic, as you're doing it out of sympathy, sympathizing with the movie producers to make that. So it's better that there is this aspect of training the content creators to actually bring out the best that they can put out there.
Well, I must say, I have friends who are into the film industry, and it's quite absurd how they tell you they're into production. They tell you that they do not view the movies themselves. I find it quite disturbing. How can you be in the production of this film and you're not able to see it? Why? Anyway, I believe like the main issue here is marketing. We need funds actually to push this so that we can actually let people appreciate our content, because now I can imagine I love watching Ugandan content, the likes of Sanyu. I watch and it's just real, you know. It depicts our culture, our modern today situation, and I believe if we could do away with these fictional movies that we love and and concentrate on our content, we can really market as individuals, push for our content to be known worldwide. Well,
I would agree with you on that, but you see this aspect, I don't think it really matters much whether culture or what. It doesn't matter, because if we have to say culture, then right now even we're here but we're speaking English, right?
Yeah, sure thing.
So the thing is, do something good, regardless of who you present it.
Because with if it's in Luganda, Lusoga, Ankole, you can still add subtitles.
Exactly, yeah, you can add subtitles. Like, in other words, if you do something good, if you're a Ugandan movie maker and you make something based on the American sort of a concept, if it's good, people are going to watch it, trust me. You know, people, as long as you show it and you can act it and feel it and be real. I mean, in terms of you being able to put yourself in that situation. You know, I've watched, there is this dude called Lukman Ali. He's really putting out quite some good stuff. You know, I've watched some of his concepts, but I'll tell you, they may not really have that deep root in Uganda, but it's good, you feel like you want to watch. First of all, from the quality of the production, the effects. I may not really care much about the storyline. By the way, people never really care about the storyline. Majority of them mind about the production, the output, or the visual wear. Does it look cinematic, or it looks like a play, you know? Or is it, you know, I say there is a difference between a video and a film, you know? So, are you shooting a video? Is it just a video recorded on camera, and that's how it looks before people, you know? Or is it looking like film? And so far yet,
well, and I think
it will sound rude if I made certain comments, but I think most of the films that are out there in Uganda, they are not films. They are videos.
They are videos. Yeah. Well, first off, I want to, I think, commend and I say we've really moved the journey, and we are doing well by the look of things.
A little.
It's the only issue is that we are yet to appreciate other characters. We are only appreciating the faces we know. And what the Uganda Film Festival normally does lately is to recognize talents that we don't even know of. Because at times you get to realize that most of the series that are, you know, so common lately, or that are famous famous because there are some faces we are used to, faces we've seen in every other movie or series in Uganda. And this doesn't mean that we do not have enough actors, because I don't want to hear that word, that the reason as why we see the same people or the same faces is because we lack actors. We have good actors in the country. We have young actors. We have those young, you know, drama actors. We've got those who are not even into acting, but you can easily see and feel by the content they show on social media that this person can actually execute an acting role. But I think it all goes back to the production part of it. Production-wise, we are trying. I think the issue was to do with funding and the kind of equipment to use. Because one of the key challenges most of the movie people have been sharing is that at times, even when it comes to the location, You will hear stories where someone said there was a time we were offered a house of someone who was working abroad, and we didn't pay for the house. So the person returns back home only to find that we are shooting in his premises. And we were about to get what? We were about to get imprisoned for the same. So you can easily see where the challenges are.
But you see, Jeremy, about that aspect,
yes,
I'll tell you this. I think one of these days I'm going to do something about cinematic, making scenes look cinematic. You get to realize that if you really go onto the scenes where most of the favorite movies we watch were shot, the scene doesn't really even look good. But that aspect of making it look cinematic, you get to realize that. That's why you can shoot. For example, there is this guy that came and shot a video with French Montana about the ghetto kids. The video was shot in the ghetto, but trust me, the quality would go on Trace. You know, those international channels that we talk about, right? It was really classic, you know, in that aspect. But why? Did they say that, you know what, let's go to a good place and make this video? I think we should set ourselves free from such, because if you even watch American videos, some of them are not shot in the best areas. But you'll be shocked with what you see on the scene. You can make the scene, okay, people know that it's a ghetto, but it doesn't look bad. It's okay, it's acceptable. I have a feeling this is the mentality that we should get rid of, because, and actually when we get rid of that, we shall even be cutting some costs. Because if we can have people who are skilled enough to make a scene look good through editing, it doesn't need for you to go into a good house for you to shoot a movie. You are saving costs.
Production.
Yes, the production. You don't need to have these, you know, that extra. Okay, it's like having a supplementary budget for production. You are going to eliminate that once you have the skills that can actually create what you want to, you know, to create. Like we've been watching the first movie, real stunts. You know, they can even act it from any location. But when you watch the movie, they edit it well and it looks good. It may, like I say, if I'm watching the movie, I know this is a ghetto. Yes, it looks okay.
You see, your argument is your argument is good. It's not backed by the financial aspect of it, because you get to realize when you look at the financial breakdown of these movies. We're not even close to that.
We're low budget.
We're low budget.
No, the issue is...
Because the level of production takes you back to even the TV production in Uganda. It takes you a lot to the kind of media production in Africa as a whole. And it leaves lots of questions to ask. Because when you look at us getting one set or do the green screen or whatever we want to do, you get to realize there's a lot of money. And when you look at the returns, we are not yet in there.
Actually, it's not expensive, Jerome.
It does look very.
Because
getting a location, as to why most of the Ugandan movies look for cheaper locations is because of the cost. And they know they are not going to earn as much. Why UCC and the likes of MultiChoice are pushing for monetization is, if you are creating a movie, is it going to give you money? And who is your target market?
Do you know that actually there are low budget movies which are about not even reaching $1 million and they're shot in the United States of America? Just that there are movies you never watch, like blockbusters, because the company is low. That's why in America, any person can make a movie and it's okay. You can watch it and it's okay. So I'm talking about that sort of standard production, which is okay. Like I gave an example of Lukman Ali. That is not really investing big. He's just playing around with...
Because he does not have money.
Yeah, but it's okay. What I'm trying to say is something, you can create something acceptable when you don't have a big budget.
Well, it is acceptable, but when you look at most of the movies he has short films, and the reason behind him having short films and why he can't expand, he actually breaks it down that he wants to expand, but because he does not have the money to compete for the bigger spaces. And this is the problem. The biggest challenge is not even if we talk about the production, but the money. As long as we do not have that money, we are likely to face it rough as a country, really.
Probably that money would be paying the workers, because those you need visual effects. But at least but imagine having a double budget of having many workers, and again you're shooting for scenes. Why don't you focus on one and know that you've eliminated the other? That the production of paying money for this hotel, that one, my team is skilled. I've invested in them to do that. So I'm saving money to go to a hotel.
Okay.
It's possible.
Well, after the break, we have more discussions regarding the top stories of the week. One gentleman once said money may not be the big issue in the world, but it's definitely the end product of everything. As we return, we will be joined by Pedersen Mumbere as we look back at a week filled up with lots of business stories and business trends. Good morning.